Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 22 of Journaling on a Budget Starting Over. Today we're going to make some of the ribbon dangle bookmarks. Treasure Books, I believe, did them with ribbon clips. I've just seen these recently. And then I just saw Sonia do them with eyelets, which was really cool in case you don't have the ribbon clips. And so I was thinking, what could we do that might even make it more available if you don't have those types of things? And I thought we could do them with magnets. So this is just a magnet that I got from our local hospital. And so I just use this because I got two of them. I use it as a magnet. So what you do is you just start like in a corner of what they've got on here. And I've already started this one just because sometimes it takes a little while of working at it. But if you can, peel off what it is that they have stuck to the front of the magnet, then you've just got the magnet and you've got a good side to glue to. If you can't peel it off, see how that's starting to peel, but does it wanted to break? If you can't peel it off, then you can just take either a piece of sandpaper or a emery board and just file on it till you get it all roughed up. So I like to try and get it off first because, you know, to me, then I know that I'm gluing to the magnet. I've got a really good, I'll have a really good stick with my glue, because if it's shiny, you just need to make sure that you rough it up because your glue won't want to stick to it. So once you get that off, this is what we're going to use to hold the bookmark in our book, instead of just letting it hang out on one end or the other. And that way it's not going to slide out. There we go. And we can do the same thing that they did with them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this down so that I have two of the same size shapes. I'm going to put it together and let it really grab where it wants to grab, so that I know when I fold my book over or my bookmark over, it's going to grab. It's not going to try and push the other magnet away or anything like that. And then I'm just going to trim it down so that they're both about the same size. And then we'll have to see whatever ribbon we're going to use, how wide that is as to how wide this needs to be. Now, I started this already with a blue ribbon, but then I had to stop. And so I'm starting over. But I thought this would be make a really pretty bookmark. So I was trying to decide, do I want it wider at the top or the bottom? And I think I like it wider at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I want this to fold over my page, and I want it to come to the bottom of my book. So I'm going to go up to the top of my journal, and I'm going to cut it a little bit longer than the journal. That way we've got enough to fold over and still have it come all the way to the bottom. So, and then I think that I'm going to maybe just, if I can get a hold of a string on here, just pull a few strings at the bottom to fray it up a little bit. So, and sometimes because this is painted, it seems like it does not want to, the paint is kind of like holding it together, do I want to say? But you can get it if you want it and you work at it. So I'll just take a needle and try and grab the very bottom thread down there and see what that does. Not everything is always as easy as it looks when you watch other people do it. So, and it's not always as easy as it usually is for you even. Sometimes you have those times where it just does not want to cooperate, which is pretty much what it seems like this is doing. And it's not just because it's painted. I'm not really sure, because this is really fighting me. And you don't normally have that kind of a problem. So, you know, maybe we're not going to fray the bottom. That's very odd. I've really never had it happen. Never had it be that hard before, because this is just a plain old cotton fabric. But it does not want to fray. So I'm not going to worry about it. It is what it is. Alrighty, so that's the bottom. So since I'm not going to fray it, I think I am going to straighten it a little bit. Maybe. We'll see if I can actually cut it straight. That looks pretty good. Okay, then I'm going to go to, well, let's decide. I found a page in here that I thought it would look good on towards the back. I thought it would look really nice right here because it has the bluish purple tones as in over here, and then it has the same like lighter purple as we have here. So I really like, I'm going to tuck that envelope right in there to keep it out of my way. I really like how that goes with this page. So this is going to stick out a little bit longer than the bottom, not much, because we're going to put some dangles on there, but I want the dangles to be just under the page. And then I'm just going to come up to the top and fold it over the top of the page so I know where my fold has to be. And then I'm just going to finger press that because that's going to be the top of our bookmark. Now, the thing is, do we want the bookmark that wide or do we want it thinner? For this page, I like it like this. Normally, I make them a little thinner. I'll show you the other one that I started earlier, which it only just has the magnet on it, but I can show you that one. And, you know, the size that I did that one, about 1.5 inches, I think. So I am going to now take the magnet, whoops, and leave it together. You want it to be together when you glue it so that you know that when you use your bookmark and you want to flip it over the page, you know that it's okay. And I'm gluing on the sticky side. This side has a little bit of glue on it from where I peeled that plastic off. I was just kind of testing that because it looked really normal, but it is the glue side. So you want to make sure if you peel something off and it kind of has a gluey side, make sure you don't put that towards your paper. You want that to be glued to whatever you're gluing it to, because if you put that kind of sticky side towards your paper, it may stick itself right to your paper and rip your journal. So now we've got that on there. And then normally what I would do at this point is I would throw it into a book and let it dry for a little bit. Maybe make a few of them at a time so that you have them for later. But we're just going to work with this. The thing is that, you know, I'm going to show you what it looks like, but I'll have to carefully take it apart so that I don't peel it off my fabric. But once it dries, it should stick really well. I think that I am going to trim this up just a little bit, just because. There we go. And so now we have our magnet, and this magnet is going to go over our page, just like that, and then stick to itself. So now you have that, and it's kind of even like a little bit of a page flip, because this page here is a writing page to me, because it's such a nice, good color and everything. But then this gives us interest that can just come off. And this can also be moved to different parts of your journal if you're working in different parts of your journal. So we're going to put this aside for now, and we're going to look at this and say, okay, now honestly, I think this is really pretty just like it is. It doesn't need a whole lot, but you can stamp on them and do all sorts of things to them. But I did pull out some of the wooden beads that we made in the, oh, I like this one, in the budget crafting series. And that one's pretty. So those are kind of pretty. Yeah, we made these wooden beads in the budget series from some coasters and some all sorts of things. You know, you can get those wooden beads, like I said, like coasters glued together, placemats, the seat cushion things, they have beads on them, and then you just decorate them up to be the way that you want them to be. We also have our hand-dyed stuff that we did from white to white. So I thought maybe something like this might look nice on here. Got some, this is just the string when I was fringing up the fabric that day. But I think that this might look kind of pretty under this flower. Give it a little bit of a lift. Just thinking maybe right there where I don't know that the string really does much of anything. Let's see. Got some pink here. What about putting a little bit of that? The blues are just so much the same color, which is great sometimes for some things. But for that, they were just blending in way too well. So got some here that I had dyed pink. Let's see how that looks under the blue flower. Ooh, I like that. So we needed the contrast. The blues were just, there was no point in putting it under there because there was just no contrast. So I think I'm going to just kind of arrange it just a little bit to how I want it to look. Because I do want it a little bit round. You might want it really, really messy. I think I like the way that that looks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of glue here and there on the back of the pink, just to kind of hold it in its place. Then I'm going to sew the flower to the bookmark. Maybe if I just put a little bit of glue here. I don't want a lot of glue because I am going to sew the flower on. And so I don't want all that glue getting all over my needle. There. I think I like the way that that looks. And then we need something for the center of that flower. Do I want to do that? What do we have here? Okay, so let's take, got a couple of little purple beads here. Do I want a smaller button? I've got a purple button. No, I think I like the bigger one. And I don't think I need any of those. Do I maybe need another flower on top of that before the button? Then I might need the small button. We don't want it to be too deep. It is going to be a bookmark, so we have to remember it's got to fit inside of our book. But I do think I kind of like that little flower on there. Wonder what it would look like with the smaller purple button now that we've got the smaller flower. I like that. I think that looks really pretty. So I'm going to, I already threaded my needle so that I didn't have a problem with that. And I'm using a double thickness of thread. Okay, now I'm going to start underneath of my button so that my knot is under there. Oh yeah, I'm hitting that glue. Because we have to remember if we're going to sew on here, that sewing is going to show through on the other side. But so long as we don't make it super messy, it will be just fine. All right, so we've got that one in there. Just need to find the, oh yes, sewing buttons, not my biggest forte. Tend to make a little bit of a, takes forever. Okay, so I'm gonna just do a little like cross here. And then I should be able to see where I put it in last time. which doesn't matter because that came out a different hole, but that's all right. At least it came through. And you don't have to sew it. You can just glue it if you want to. And actually, maybe I was going to say maybe I should have put a little glue on there first. But no, because that would have just made a mess. All right, so I'm having a little problem with this, and I need to stop here for just a second. So I'm going to stop right here. And I will be right back. The only thing I'm going to do is finish sewing that on. Be back in just a sec. Okay, I am back, and I finished sewing the button on. The one thing that I didn't finish was I didn't knot it off yet because I don't want to make a big knot on the back side. What I'm going to do, if I can get a hold of the needle, I'm going to come back through the fabric and just kind of stay underneath one of the flower petals here instead of coming through the button. And so then I'm going to lift this flower petal up, and I'm just going to knot it off right here. I'm just going to put it through the bigger flower because all I need to do is knot the thread. I don't, it doesn't have to be knotted into the fabric. So I knotted the thread in the flower right there, and now I don't have to worry about having a big old knot on the back. I'm just going to trim that off. And I think that that looks really pretty, just like that kind of. But we want to put some dangles on the bottom, so we're going to do that. And I'm going to use that same thread. You can use embroidery floss or anything like that, whatever you have. And so I'm just going to put a knot back in my thread and then decide. I thought these were kind of pretty, but they're kind of long. If I put anything else with them, it's really going to be long. And do I want it to stick out that far? I don't know. But if I put those at the bottom, and I have some beads here, we could do like purple in the middle and turquoise on the outside. Let's see. I don't have all the same. Let's see. Let's do this color one because I do have the same size beads in that color one. Kind of. That green one is bigger. So if I put that one in the middle, put the purple on the outside. So do we want it like that or not? And then if we actually do that, what I can do later on, because I don't have anything here, is I could find some little words out of a magazine or a book, and I could put them on these plain colored ones, and so that they have words on them. That would be nice, and those will hang out underneath of our book. So they would hang out like that. I think that that would be okay. So because, they're going to be on string, they can flip this way and that way to get out of the way. So I am just going to, well, I probably should start with the middle. So I'm going to kind of fold this in half, not stretching it at all, because then it wouldn't be the middle anymore. So I have to have the knot somewhere. Don't need that really long string on it. So we're going to have a little knot on the back. Alrighty, then I'm just going to, hopefully my needle will fit through these beads. I don't know. If not, we'll have to go to plan B, whatever that may be. Ah, it did. Okay, so go through there, go through the next one. And you can do this part so many different ways. Alrighty, so then we're going to do like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go around that bottom bead, skip it, and go back through the middle bead and the top bead. And then that bottom bead will hold the other 2 beads on. So that is going to be on there like that. I kind of have a problem with my string here, so I want to fix that before I knot it, otherwise I won't be able to fix it later. And can I get it? We'll have to see. There we go. Okay, so now we have that one there. And these are all going to go back through the other side of the fabric and knot it off on the back side. Then maybe we'll put a little piece of ribbon or something right across that, the bottom on the back, to cover up our knots. Then we don't have to worry about, don't have to worry about what it looks like back here. So I'm just gonna grab a good amount of fabric there, you know, just to make sure I'm not too close to the bottom of the fabric, and make sure that I really get some. Don't take just a teeny bit, you know, take 1/8 of an inch or something of fabric to get a good knot, especially since we've decided we're going to hide them, because that's going to be hanging out the bottom of your journal and you don't want it to fall off. So we'll just trim that one and then put the other 2 on. Alrighty, so now I'm just going to kind of, for this one, I'm just going to eyeball where I think it should go, because it really doesn't matter. We'll just have to make sure that the one on the other side over here is about the same distance from the center. So we're going to come through from the back, go through our biggest colored bead, then our wooden bead. Yeah, I think this will look cute with words on it. And there we go. And this is just a regular needle. It's not a bead needle or anything, but if your holes are too small, I put this through the other thread. That's not good. Hopefully I don't make too big of a mess. You know, then you may need a smaller needle. Bead needles, you know, are very, very thin, but you really don't need them for all beads. So, you know, just really normally I check it before I start sewing on some beads or whatever to make sure it goes through whatever beads I'm going to use. So again, I went down through all 3, skipped the bottom one and came back through the top 2. And I'm just going to knot it off at the back. And then we'll do that last one. And you can use whatever kind of beads you want. These are kind of big and chunky, but yet we let this bookmark, because I like the looks of it, I left it large. So the big chunky beads kind of go. I think if this was a really thin piece of fabric, those big chunky beads would look a little bit too big. 2 down and 1 to go. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I really do appreciate you. I enjoy doing these videos for you and hearing your comments. Let's see here. I put that one right about there. And if you see a video that you think I want to watch it again later or something, if you like the video, and then if you go to your, you know, if you want, whenever you want to find something, if you go back and you look at your liked videos, then it will be there. It took me a while to figure that one out. I used to try and find videos I had already seen, and oh, I had such a hard time finding them. This one, oh, well, we've got it through now. Alrighty, I'm gonna have to do that again. Not go through, I pulled it right through the fabric is what I did. But I was pulling very hard. I'm going to just take a little bit of a stitch in there because that fabric's a little bit weak. Now I'm going to go to the back and then just come forward again. Because I definitely don't want a huge mess here on the front. There we go. Just put that one in there. But yeah, so if you like the video, that will give you a place to go back and look later. Not just my videos, but you know, any videos that you like. If you hit the like button, they'll be there the next time you want to look for them. Seriously, come on, you just went through there. You see, I have a little rubber thing here. Don't know if this will work or not, but it might. My hands aren't, there we go. Hands aren't wanting to work that well today either. So there we go. Got that on there, so we're going to skip the bottom bead, go up through the middle bead, go up through the top bead, I think I might have put that one a little higher than the other two, I'm not sure. And then just go through and tie it off on the back. Now, this is really almost getting too short to take this all the way through, turn my needle around and go through that loop, which I need to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my needle through the loop backwards because they're right there together, and then give it a pull. And the point did come out, so I'm going to do it one more time because I like to knot twice on something like this. That second time it is probably not going to, the needle's not going to go all the way through, so I'm going to put it through there, kind of go through that loop of leftover thread, and then I'm going to take this thread that's on the needle and cut it, and then just give it a pull. And that just did the same thing as if you had taken the needle and put it through frontwards. Get rid of that. So there we go. We've got these dangles on the bottom, which we can put some words on. We've got the flower in the middle, which looks cute. And let's look at the back here and see if we really need. Now, I was going to put some ribbon on the back. Got a little extra thread here. I'm going to try and get that off. But I don't know. I have some here that we colored and everything, but I think that this would look kind of cool. But I do think that I like the scrunchiness and everything, and that really is not showing up much at all. So I don't think that it needs to be covered. If I had made a mess, then I would want to cover it. But I think that that looks really cute. And you know, you could stamp some fabric and put it on there, but I like the looks of the crinkle ribbon, so I don't really want to cover it up too much. So I'm just going to take that one, and that would look good right here. Oh, the other thing is, if you want beads at the top, no problem. I'm going to be very careful with this because it's not dry yet. This should be stuck. I usually open them up and put them in a heavy book and just let them sit for the day. But if you want to have beads hanging out the top, then you just sew them to the top of your fold right here so that you've got beads on the top and beads on the bottom. But the magnet just helps your bookmark to stay in the book and where you want it. So, and also, you know, like if you do them with the beads like everybody else showed, that also helps them stay. The beads hanging out the top helps them stay too. I'm not saying this is better. This is just different. So, and then we've got our beads hanging out the bottom. We've got our really pretty ribbon, and we've got our magnet holding it there. And I wanted to show you, hold on. Okay, so this is the one I had started a little bit ago. And again, it just has the magnet already glued to the top. It really hasn't set long enough to dry yet, but so again, you can put beads off the top. We can put beads off the bottom like we did there. You can stamp on them, which I thought that these were some pretty stamps that might look nice on here. But I like the butterfly. I want to do that one on there and try it. And I think because this is just so flimsy, I'm going to just put this piece of card underneath. Might give me a little bit of a flatter surface because this is very wrinkly and has holes and chunks of paint and everything else on it. So, all right, and I'm not sure how well that this one, I think that a bold stamp is kind of better on fabric sometimes, but this one I'm not sure how it's gonna look. So we're gonna find out right now. Put it on there. Give it a little bit of a press, let it sit for a minute, let that ink soak in. And, you know, you do want to make sure that you give it a little push all the way around the stamp so that the whole thing has touched, but we're not pressing it and holding it down because that's not the point. The point is that ink needs to get into that fabric and it needs to get there, you know, all over. So, and there we go. Not too bad. I think that that looks cute. Now, do I want another one towards the bottom? I think I do, and I think I want to put one towards the bottom. And the one thing I want to do is, because I think this needs to be made shorter, I'm going to go to my spot in the book where I thought that this one would go. Just right here. And find out how long I want this, because I don't want to put my butterfly at the bottom and then cut it off. And again, that's just me, but I don't want to cut it off and have the top one and the bottom one be kind of out of. I want the bottom one to be about as far from the bottom as this one is from the top. So if I put the other one way towards the bottom, and then if I put it, let's say, right there, because that would be about the same as at the top. And then I go down here and go, oh, I'm going to cut it off. I'd cut it off right underneath that stamp. So that would be right at the bottom of the page instead of kind of centered, which is what I want to do. So this one is going to be cut off just barely below the book, right there. Just like to have that little tiny bit of extra fabric. There we go. Oops, took some off the side here, so I'm just going to cut those. I'm not going to fringe them any further than they are. There we go. And then I can fringe up the bottom a little bit too. See, now this one is painted and this one is fringing just fine. The other one may have had something to do with the wrinkles in the fabric. I don't know why that one just didn't want to. All right, so we've got that one there. I'm going to put one more, and I want it to face the other way. Kind of, that one's kind of going that way. My ink pad's getting a little bit dried out, too. Not dried out, actually probably used out. And there is definitely a difference between the two. Okay, I want to come up a bit. And kind of, whoops. I touched the fabric already, so I need to just put it down, and hopefully I didn't smear it. Now this one has glue. I can see the glue right there. Make sure I've got a press on all of it. Let it sit there for a second. So I'm going to need to cover that glue up. Usually the Fabri-Tac on fabric doesn't show through the fabric, but on this piece of fabric it did. And there we go. So now we have the two of them, and then we'll have to decide what's going to go in the middle, but also need to see, that's a pretty piece of ribbon. So I can put that ribbon right across there, and it will cover up the Fabri-Tac. Now see, this has got different tones and colors to it. So when I put it on with the Fabri-Tac, it might almost look like those are because of that, but it's not. Those are already there. And I like those there. Now, do I want to, I could leave it stick out a little bit. It's a bookmark, and I think I might do that. So I think I'm going to come over here, cut it on an angle, kind of look at the two angles and see if they look about the same, which they do. And I'm going to put it on there like that. So where did I put my fab? Here it is. And I'm just going to put this right here on top of the magnet on this side. And then put it on there. That looks pretty centered. Give it a press. Get that piece of string out of there. There we go. That looks good. Now the other side, it also came through, but on that side I'm just going to, now I could, you know, put this one on there like that, which I could because it's going to be on the other side of the page. Why don't I? I'm going to try and make those angles about the same. Yeah, might as well. We'll have it sticking out on both sides. It's like whenever you're making something, that's why I don't usually have a plan. It's just kind of like whatever feels right at the moment. And I'm going to put this one the opposite way too. There we go. That looks about even. And yeah, so I didn't even have any plan on putting that there. And I didn't know what I had exactly here in the stash. That blue ribbon looks really good. I'm going to take this apart carefully because it's not dry. And then this one can, again, you can put dangles at the fold. You can sew them on there and let them dangle out the top. You can put dangles on the bottom. And then in the center, I don't know exactly what I want to put in the center at this point in time. I just love this one. Handle with care. But, you know, see, it's fabric. It's not going to be able to stick out like that. What about putting something like this on there? I think I like that. I like the fact that that's a circle and those are a circle. So do I like it in the pink or the blue? Do I want it to be matchy-matchy or do I want contrast? Do I want it straight? Oh, I like it on an angle. And I think I like the pink. So the pink's going on there. And I could just put more stamps on there. I pulled out a few stamps to see which ones, you know, at the time, which ones hit me right. You know, sometimes it's like, oh, I like that, and I like that, and I like that, and I like that. But then when I actually go to do it, there's just one of them that says this is the right one. And when I'm just like mass making some of these little charms, fabric charms is what I kind of call them, these little bits, you know, then I just pick all the stamps that I like. And I just stamp them 3 or 4 times or whatever on every color. And then I have some there, just like today, to use when the time comes that I need them. And there we go. There's that bookmark. I'm not going to put dangles on this one right now. So I may put, at some point, I may put it. I kind of like the looks of this. And so I don't know if I will put beads at the bottom or not. But I might, because that really was the whole point of doing these, was to do the beaded ones without without having the eyelets or the ribbon clips. But I have showed you how to do them. You'll just have to decide if you want to put them on there or not, because I've decided right now I don't. Open this up. Put the fold at the top of the page. Oh, magnet just clipped. Oops, I think we need to move it over a little bit. Yeah, that magnet's really holding. There. And I like the way that that one looks too. So we've got that one. And where's the other one? Should be able to find it. It's big and bulky, right? Well, this one's on the front signature. That one there. And we have that one there. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and I hope that you have fun making some if you make them. Thank you very much for stopping by, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.